My name is John Woods, and I'm against these bills. I have a concealed handgun permit. I'm also a doctoral student in molecular biology at the University of Texas. I graduated from Virginia Tech 3 weeks after the shooting. I knew too many of the victims: Brian, Leslie, Stack, Rima, Maxine. Maxine and I began dating on Friday the 13th of October 2006. On April 13th, I escorted her to her sorority formals 3 days before the shooting. It was our 6-month anniversary. We spent all day on April 16th trying to reach her. We checked all the hospitals. We waited all day for her to walk through the front door. Her roommate, Michelle, got the call from Max's parents that night. She never made it out of Norris Hall. When I went to pick up her things from the state police in Salem, the detective told me that she never even saw the shooter enter. I would venture to say that none of the members of this committee have ever gotten that kind of phone call or had to go pick up the belongings of a murdered loved one from the police. My condolences if they have. But if they haven't, they should at least talk to people who have. The nonpartisan Virginia Tech review panel did talk to people who received those phone calls. The panel included experts in law enforcement, criminal behavior, adolescent psychiatry, emergency medicine, higher education, victim services, and even Tom Ridge, President Bush's first Homeland Security Secretary. Gerald Massengill, who was trusted to lead the investigation of the 9/11 attacks on the Pentagon as well as the 2002 Beltway sniper attacks, chaired the panel. The panelists talked to the survivors from Norris Hall, to the first responders, to the campus police, to virtually everyone affected. They dedicated 3 months of their lives to comprehending a terrible tragedy and finding strategies for prevention. They made over 70 recommendations. One was to close the mental health loophole, which allowed the shooter to buy his gun, and another was that guns be kept out of classrooms by force of law. Members of this body, mostly sponsors of the Guns on Campus legislation, voted against closing that mental health loophole on the House floor 2 years ago. I don't understand how people can say we need guns on campus to protect our students while simultaneously saying let's give guns to people who are homicidal and suicidal, and then also cut campus mental health. And if this legislation is really about campus safety, what about the other 70 recommendations of the review panel? Why haven't any of those been addressed? No hearings, no legislation, nothing. If lawmakers want credibility on campus safety, they need to be part of the campus safety dialogue. That means reading the panel report, talking to survivors, to campus police chiefs, to university administrators. They need to listen to students, to faculty, to the families who've gotten those phone calls. What happens if we see a repeat of Northeast Lakeview Community College in San Antonio, where a man with a concealed handgun license shot a fellow librarian out of jealousy? Supposedly, the screening process addresses premeditated crime. How are crimes of passion addressed? Or the campus suicide problem? You're trying to address the rare day when a campus shooting occurs. But what about all the days when campus shootings aren't occurring? What will you do when someone gets mugged on campus, pulls a gun, but isn't fully prepared to use it, and that firearm gets used against that person for something much worse? Will you call her parents? These bills will not make campuses safer. 86% of campus police chiefs agree with that statement in a survey published in 2009. All of the survivors of the Virginia Tech shooting, as far as I know, agree with that statement, as do all the families of the victims. These bills are about an ideological agenda, not about campus safety, and I urge you to vote no on all 4.
Any questions, members?